Hello and welcome to Mystery Us. I'm Tony Pratt, your host for Mystery Us, and today we have a fascinating guest, Gerry Scott. Gerry, welcome to Mystery Us.
Thank you.
Now, Gerry, you are with an organization called Citizens Commission on Human Rights, CCHR. Now, what is Citizens Commission on Human Rights, and how did you get involved? What do you do there?
Well, I'm the executive director, which means that I run the group. The Citizens Commission on Human Rights is basically a psychiatric watchdog organization.
Right.
Founded back in 1969 by the Church of Scientology and Doctor of Psychiatry, Thomas Saz, in order to seek out, investigate, and expose psychiatric abuse.
Okay. Now, why are you specifically targeting the psychiatric profession?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Primarily because there's been a great decline, as many people have noticed, and I'm sure many of your viewers have noticed, over the past, say, 20, 30, 40 years in society, both morally, intellectually, education standards, and so forth. And a lot of that is directly traceable back to the psychiatric industry.
Right.
You're looking at billions and billions of dollars being spent on the drugging of children and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And what that has resulted in is crime, higher suicide rates, and in general, a destabilization of what once made our country great.
Right, and a lot of these school shootings and mass shootings, these individuals have been taking one or the other of these psychotropic drugs, right?
That's absolutely correct. And it's something that's increasing every year. This industry kills somewhere around 42,000 people per year throughout the world, which is an astronomical number that needs to stop. I did actually bring a DVD here,
right?
A clip for you guys to show that drives home some of the points and some of the things that we do.
And it's called Making a Killing. And what's the subheading? I forget.
It's a
inside story of.
Yeah, it's a little mini documentary called Psychiatry: Prescription for Violence, and it's part of the special features section of the Making a Killing DVD.
Okay, well, let's look at the DVD here right quick, and then we'll continue.
We have swallowed all manner of poisonous certainties fed us by our parents and school teachers. If the race is to be freed from its crippling burden of good and evil, it must be psychiatrists who take the original responsibility.
Brock Chisholm's declaration typified the psychiatric onslaught aimed directly at our school system.
They actually said that the purpose was social control, not to pass on knowledge, not to give him something so that he can go into the world of work.
In 1950, psychiatrists and psychologists from around the world met at the White House to propose a total reorientation of the public school system.
The White House Conference on Mental Health in the 1950s was a landmark that served to bolster the idea that schools would serve their communities better as mental health clinics than they would as institutions of learning.
In the early 60s, the world of psychiatry started to really go places in this country. Little by little, it came into our schools, our educational system.
And by 1965, it was written into law. Psychiatrists were given the green light for the wholesale labeling and drugging of school children.
A child is labeled ADD or ADHD the minute he can't sit still for a 10-15 minute period of time, or he talks constantly or ignores the teacher completely. That will get him and earn him an ADD or ADHD label.
The labeling of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, went into full swing in 1987. within 1 year, 500,000 American children would be diagnosed as ADHD. By 1994, that number had soared to 4.4 million. In response to widespread public alarm at this apparent epidemic of mental disease, the U.S. government-funded National Institutes of Health assembled a panel of prominent doctors and psychiatrists to explain to parents and educators exactly what ADHD was.
I would like any member of the panel to describe a typical ADHD in terms of symptomatology. Mark, would you like to? Since you see them in your practice.
I mean, I think the panel has been frank, and you know, the difficulties here are immense in terms of these. I mean, it is hard. It's very hard to know how to answer this question. They cannot, you know, even when they are as if driven by a motive. There are some good clinical descriptions. And I think, you know, I think the part of the problem is the profession keeps changing the diagnosis.
At this time, we do not have a diagnostic test for ADHD. Therefore, the validity of the disorder continues to be a problem.
But this shocking admission did not stop school psychiatrists. 2 years later, the number of American students diagnosed with ADHD had shot up to 6 million. Today, 20 million children worldwide are labeled with some form of learning disorder, a diagnosis often made in a matter of minutes.
We would sit behind a two-way mirror along with the parents. We would then look at the child. We would do small manipulative activities with them to see where their deficit was. It was wrong what we were doing. We were looking at a 5-minute glimpse of this child's life and saying, okay, here you go. Here's a little pill, take it, you'll be fine.
Those little pills like Ritalin, Adderall, and Concerta are classified by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration as highly addictive substances, right along with cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine.
When I was on the Ritalin, it made me just feel like totally different, like I wasn't even who I was.
I was, flipping out, was twitching, going crazy.
I felt like I was out of it all the time, like I wasn't there. I wasn't human.
You're just a zombie, pretty much. You do what you can just to get by and just don't do anything extra.
My mother never teased me, but she thought I really had ADHD and I was wrong, and I had something wrong with me. So I thought she'd feel bad and feel sorry for me if I died, but then again, I thought that she would miss me a lot, and I also love her a little more than I wanted to kill myself. And so I stopped when I realized that.
The abundance of prescription medications created a new income source for kids, selling their meds to their schoolmates.
It's called kitty cocaine. They take the Ritalin and they just repackage it and they sell it on campus to the kids because it's like speed.
I figured if I was gonna do drugs, I might as well make it worth it.